So I'm probably the only person who would ever be crazy enough to do this. Over the past few months, I have been measuring every single Metrolink platform. Yeah, every single one. It's funny what you can get up to when you're bored. You might be asking, Isaac, why did you bother with this? So much useless information. What is so interesting about the length of a Metrolink platform? Well, you'd be surprised. So, to start off, I measured every platform on Google Maps. There are 99 tram stops on the Metrolink today. 3 have 1 platform, 91 have 2 platforms, 3 have 3 platforms, and 2 have 4 platforms. That's a total of 202 platforms. Goodness me, 202. I spent way too much of my time doing this. Plus there is one abandoned platform at Cornbrook that closed in 2009 and that's remained in place ever since. I'll talk about it some more in the future. Now, most of the time, Google Maps is actually quite accurate with measuring stuff like this, but I just wanted to check them in real life just to make sure. I did for some reason bring a 30cm ruler with me, but I think there's a better way of measuring this platform, don't you? Imagine if I actually did that. I just place it down and I go, alright, 1, 2, yeah, let's not do this. I must look like a lunatic right now. And then I noticed the tactile paving tiles. These specific tiles with the lozenge shapes are specifically used along light rail platforms to help the visually impaired know where the platform edge is well before they're in danger of walking off. Weirdly, along some other tram platforms are different tiles that are only supposed to be used along train platforms. Maybe the standards changed at some point. But the important thing to note is that they're evenly laid out across the entire platform edge, the exact same tile. So if we could figure out the dimensions of one of these tiles, then we could count them along the platform, and from that, figure out how long the platform is. And a quick search online returned multiple sources saying 400mm for each side, which is 40cm, and so I tested this with the outbound platform at Anchorage, which I measured at 56 meters on Google Maps, and in real life I counted 140 tiles. And dividing 56 meters by 140 tiles gives a clean and perfect 0.4 meters or 40 centimeters for each tile, which confirmed what I found online. And yes, I did check it with my ruler as well. That made it really easy to measure most of the Metrolink platforms in real life, especially the ones that I actually couldn't measure on Google Maps. Victoria's platforms are partially under the railway station's roof. Piccadilly's platforms are completely underneath the railway station. And at Manchester Airport, it's not really clear where the start and end of the single platform is. Well, actually, technically there's 2 platforms, but that one isn't really used for the Metro. Okay, it's weird. That's probably going to be a future video. Plus, there are a few others that I couldn't confirm on Google Maps because of blurry satellite imagery, like Cornbrook and Pomona, which have these other tiles that I mentioned before. I figured out that they have exactly the same dimensions though, so they were easy to measure. Obviously I couldn't measure Cornbrook's closed platform because it's closed. Some platforms also had tiles like this that had 6 shapes instead of 4 on each tile, and also some tiny things like this where the tiles are cut off that look a bit suspicious, but I did the best I could. Of course, I won't be able to cover absolutely everything, but I did cover everything over on my website with every single detail documented if for some reason you want to go read that, and also some corrections from this video if there are any. And after I measured all 203 platforms, here is what I found out. First up, the Bury line and the Altrincham line. They were the first Metrolink lines to open in 1992, besides the city centre section of course, and they're both converted railway lines. Every stop that was opened in 1992 mostly stays between 60 and 64 metres for each platform. I measured up to where these fences are, which were added to the Bury and Altrincham lines platforms in the 2010s to keep people from walking along the abandoned British rail platforms that didn't need to be used for the Metrolink. The infrastructure was probably becoming too weak for passengers to walk along. Also, the platform heights were altered just a little bit for the Metrolink conversion, as not all of the British rail platforms were built at the same height. However, to meet accessibility standards for the Metrolink, all of the platforms had to be made exactly the same height. They all had to be made 90 centimetres high. So you can see the British Rail platforms on the inbound platform at Heaton Park, the Metrolink platforms at 90 centimetres, the British Rail platforms were a bit higher, and then on this platform they're actually a bit lower. You'll see that across many other light rail systems in the UK, the platforms are much lower to the ground. But to make the transition between train and tram smooth and with as little closure time as possible, most of the infrastructure along the Bury and Altrincham lines was retained, and that includes the platforms, but also some station buildings and footbridges. And now for the platform length, there are a few outliers. Just changing drivers down there. But you'll notice that this is a double tram, which is the longest vehicle that can operate on the Metrolink. But the platform keeps going all the way down. This platform, I think this platform is 120 metres, and the other platform, that platform is 110. And they were built with longer platforms than usual because, of course, the cricket ground, Old Trafford cricket ground, is right here, and it's just so that both more vehicles could be in the platform at one time, and so that more passengers could actually fit on the platform, obviously for the events. And of course Old Trafford Stadium is like a 10-minute walk away from here. There's just one platform here at Navigation Road, and it's 107 metres long. I think it's to give access to this car park over here. And this is the entire British Rail platform that was converted to Metrolink. So the default platform length used to be around 62 metres for brand new tram stops, which is seen at Market Street, which opened in 1998, and it hasn't been rebuilt since. Now, this version of Market Street stop was opened in 1998, but there was one previously that was around here. It had just one platform. Market Street was opened in 1992, and there was also High Street just round the corner there, which also had one platform. They both only served trams in one direction, so Market Street was the southbound stop. Market Street was the northbound stop, and High Street was the southbound stop. But High Street and Market Street were both merged into just one tram stop, which served trams in both directions. And this version of Market Street opened on the 10th of August 1998. This is one of the things I like about Market Street. Like, it's got these curved platforms at both ends. However, the Eccles line was constructed just a year after Market Street opened. This version of Market Street opened. The first half of the Eccles line opened in December 1999, but those platforms were built at 58 metres instead of 62. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but the default platform length was cut down by about 4 metres for new tram stops. Cornbrook also opened on the same day as the first half of the Eccles line, which was December 1999, and it also has 58 metres for each platform. But Pomona has 57 metres for each platform. Now, Exchange Quay, Salford Quays, Harbour City and Broadway were all opened on the same day, and they all have 58 metres for each platform. However, Anchorage has 56 metres for each platform. They're just 2 metres shorter. And you can see that if you look on like Google Maps satellite view, you can see that if this tram stop wasn't here, then this bit of track here would have most definitely just been curved track. So I think they just tried to squeeze this tram stop onto the alignment somehow, and it resulted in the tram stop being just 2 metres shorter in platform length. That's my theory anyway. I don't think it's a very strong theory, but that's all we got. Yeah, so this is Broadway, the original terminus of the Eccles line, which opened in 1999, but Langworthy, Weast, Ladewell and Eccles, they all opened in 2000, and they all have 58 metres for each platform except for Eccles, which has 80 metres for its single platform. Yeah, I can't really find a reason. It's not long enough to stable an extra tram because it's only 22 metres longer, and an M5000 is 28 metres long. There are also some little details on the platform structures that tell you when they were all opened, which is pretty cool. The stops at street level that were opened in 1999 look like this, and the ones that were opened in 2000 look like this. Also, something I've just noticed, I think part of Market Street and part of the platforms were relaid at some point after this version of Market Street opened in 1998, because on the Eccles line you'll see that the platform surfaces have the herringbone pattern all the way across. And those tram stops were opened in 1999 and 2000, and they're the only tram stops that have that, except Market Street was opened in 1998, and along the ramps up to the platforms there's still this pattern. But once you get to the actual platforms, it's different, so it might have been relayed at some point. Now, the 2010s was definitely the biggest year for the Metrolink. So many things changed about the system, and most of the stations that are open today were opened between 2011 and 2014. But sometime in 2012, tram stops began to be constructed at 54 metres instead of the current 58 standard, which lowered the standard again by exactly 4 metres. For example, Milnrow and Kingsway Business Park were both opened in February 2013 on the same day, but Kingsway Business Park has 54 metres and Milnrow has 58. Now over on the Barry line, Abraham Moss was opened in 2011 with 58 metres for each platform, which was normal at the time. And Abraham Moss was opened to eventually replace Woodlands Road, which was just a couple hundred metres down the line over there. Queen's Road was opened on the same day that Woodlands Road closed, which was in December 2013, and so that means that Queen's Road also has 54 metres for each platform. Platform 1, it's not actually Platform 1, I'm just saying it's Platform 1 for simplicity. The platforms aren't actually numbered, but yeah, let's call this Platform 1, and it's 64 metres long, which is normal, because this tram stop was opened in 1992. And Platform 2, for some reason, has 74 metres. I'm not sure why there's that much platform. The trams don't even stop right at the end of the platform. I think they stop just a bit short. So yeah, Platform 1, 64 metres, Platform 2, 74, and then you have the brand new, you might be able to tell it's a brand new, well, sort of brand new. It opened in August 2019. Platform 3 at Crumpsall, 54 metres long, which is normal for that time. So yeah, it was this platform at Crumpsall that opened. It opened over 6 years ago now, and it was planned to be used for Trafford Centre services to turn around. But I don't think one regular Trafford Centre service has actually entered Platform 3 since it opened, and that's 6 years ago now. So it's been quite a while, and I've made a video on that before, so here it is. And the very, very last thing, the longest Metrolink platform, and it centres around Bury and Altrincham. Bury has two effectively double-length platforms at 123 metres, for stabling trams when they need to be taken out of service, or for other reasons where multiple services need to use the same platform. The platforms were very clearly intended for this specific purpose, demonstrated by stop markers and keep clear signs on the platforms. However, at Altrincham it's not like that. Only the first 60 metres or so of the platform was actually refurbished for Metrolink use. Even though trams can still technically stop at these parts of the platforms, they weren't intended to. There's no stop markers or anything. But here's where it gets interesting. Altrincham Platform 2 is the longest platform served by a Metrolink track at 162 metres. It's a converted railway platform, but this part of the platform was never intended for Metrolink use, like at Bury, where it's very clear what the intention was. And I actually don't know what to do here, so how should we count this? Should Altrincham's Platform 2 be the longest Metrolink platform since it's there, and it's the physical platform, or should it go to Bury at 123 metres, because that's the longest platform that was actually intended for Metrolink use? Kind of anticlimactic, I know, but let me know your opinions in the comments. If for some reason you want to read the full document that I made, then I posted about it on my website with full details, if you're interested in that kind of thing. I did have a lot of fun making this, but it took me literally ages, so please consider liking the video and subscribing if you like, and thanks for watching.